Oh, really?
Vampire! We take your candy!
Count Dracula.
I am Dracula. And I bid you welcome, Mr. Hunt, to my house. Come in.
Our first award goes to the vampire for most blood drained in a single evening.
The strength of the vampire is that people will not believe in him.
Good evening, my fellow vampire lovers. The sun is going down and you know what that means. It's time for me to start a YouTube channel. So this is my first YouTube video. If you don't know me, I have a podcast called The Beautiful Dead. All vampires all the time. I'm about to start my third season and I thought, I have social media, I have TikTok. What should I do next? And I've had many people ask, are you on YouTube? So I thought, why am I not on YouTube? What can I do on YouTube? I have had a lot of people ask me about behind the scenes of a podcast. So I thought, wouldn't it be interesting if I just record raw footage of creating a podcast behind the scenes, the things that I edit out, the things that I do before and after, what it looks like when I record. Some people are visual, some people are not audio, so they might be more inclined to watch a YouTube video. Some people listen to the podcast and they'll be interested to come see, what do I edit out? What do I deal with behind the scenes? If you don't know me, I do have 2 children. They are teenagers. They are upstairs right now. I also have a dog and a cat. And so a lot of things do not go as planned. A lot of things get edited out when it comes to family members. Also, heat. I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It is January, so I have a little space heater next to me because my office is in the basement because I need it to be windowless for obvious reasons. So I will heat it up in here and then I will shut this little space heater off so you don't hear it in the podcast. So in the beginning it's not too bad, but it starts to get cold towards the end. Also behind me is the furnace. So if it kicks on for the whole house, you will hear it. And if it's too loud, I do edit that out. I don't know that I'll make you listen to minutes and minutes of the furnace, but we'll see how it goes. Because this is my first video, you do have to bear with me. I'm not totally sure yet what I'm going to be doing with this channel, what I'll be adding, what I'll be taking out. Anyone who's listened to the podcast will know that it took me a little while to get into the swing of things and decided what I wanted to do. I think the YouTube channel is going to be the same. I'm also learning about editing as I go. I don't have an editor. I'm a one-person show. For those of you who don't know, I'm also an author. I have vampire novels out, which is what encouraged me to do this podcast. I've always loved vampires since I was 6 years old. If you go listen to the first episode, I talk a lot about it. I talk a little bit throughout my episodes about it, but that's where this all came from. So that's the why behind this. I'm also a full-time nurse, so I do have a real job. The nice thing about being a nurse, night shifts. So you're in for a ride. I think I'm in for a ride. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little bit nervous right now. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm on camera, maybe because it's different, maybe because I have high expectations for this. I have not done a podcast episode in a few weeks, so I'm very excited to be back. Lots to talk about, so why don't we just go ahead and dive in so I can stop talking. If you ever were curious, this is what my script looks like. I do have a script. Sometimes I go off script, often I go off script, but I do have general ideas of what I want to talk about, especially for this type of episode because I am talking about upcoming movies and TV shows that we can look forward to. If I'm reviewing a movie or a TV show, especially if I just watched it, I tend to go way off script. But this is what the script looks like. I am using Audacity. I have my mic in front of me here. So before I do the podcast, I do pull up my Audacity and I listen to the opening track. It kind of gets me into the mood of things. I have drinks here. I have a big gallon jug of water because I do have to take gulps in between, as well as I have an adult beverage right here, and I will be showing you that pretty soon. Okay, let's get into it. Why don't we listen to the opening track?
Really?
Vampire! We take your
Count Dracula.
I am Dracula. And I bid you welcome, Mr. Hunt, to my house. Come.
Our first award goes to the vampire for most blood drained in a single evening.
The strength of the vampire is that people will not believe in him.
So that is my opening track. I plan to have that playing in the beginning of all of my YouTube videos, but because this is the first video, I did want to give you behind the scenes that I always listen to it first to kind of get myself into the right headspace, and then I start recording from there. The next thing I do, of course, make sure I've had water, make sure my throat is nice and ready to talk, and then I test the mic because I have had it, for whatever reason, make a weird tinny sound, and then I have to go back and fix it. So we're gonna go ahead and do my sound check here. Good evening, my fellow vampire lovers. All right, let's see. Oh, it'd be good if I turn the volume back up. Let's take a look. Good evening, my... Great, so there's nothing wrong with the mic, which means it's a good day. It's a good day to record. I don't often have problems with the mic, but it does happen, so. We are going to delete that. So, we are going to jump into recording. There may be some side talking, there may be interruptions. Again, I want to make it clear, for the YouTube video, I will not edit that out. For the podcast, for the finished product, I will. So, before I get started, if you guys think this is interesting, if you love the idea of it, if you have things you would love for me to do, I do want to do extra videos. I want to throw in, I just got back from a con. I want to do like a compilation of my cons and throw that in there. Let me know, because I'd be interested. Put it in the comments down below. But let's go ahead. Let's jump in. You get to see exactly what it's like to record this podcast. Good evening, my fellow vampire lovers. The sun is going down, and you know what that means. I'm back for season 3 of the Beautiful Dead podcast. As always, I'm your host, Lena Nazari. Go to my website, lenanazari.com. You can find links to all of my social media, as well as email me. It is hot on TikTok. That is what I've been doing while I was on my little break, among other things. But I've been on TikTok every day. I drop a random vampire fact or vampires making the news. Everybody seems to be liking it. And I am going to be posting something quick from my trip to New Orleans if you're curious about how it went. That's right. If you don't know, I am freshly back from New Orleans. I was there for Fan Expo to promote my books. Check out my Instagram for pictures with the real Jeremy and Logan, who you will know if you've read my books. If you're curious about what they look like, well, they're more handsome in person, but you can go check out the pics just to get a general idea, put faces to the names, and considering they are in book 3, you might want to go check it out just so you have it seared into your brain what those beautiful boys look like. I cannot put into words this trip to New Orleans. I'm changed, okay? I'm completely changed because of the 4 days that I spent down in Louisiana in the French Quarter. For starters, I renewed my table before I even left, which I have never done before. So that will tell you how much fun I had. I will be going back to Fan Expo NOLA January of 2024, so throw that on your calendar. I had the best con neighbors, let me tell you. The best I've ever had, and they renewed, so we will be reunited in January of 2024. I'm so excited. Go check out IB Comics. I did tag them in one of my pictures on Instagram, so they're easy to find. And if you want to know what these guys are like, let me just tell you. They christened my booth the Vampire Sex Table, which I will now be calling it from now on. So these are the kind of guys. Awesome. Go check them out and support them. Secondly, I stayed in a haunted hotel. That is right. If you missed it, I did an Insta Live from my hotel room. My friend Summer and I did some little ghost session there. As far as I know, nothing happened. I still have to listen to the recording. There's always a chance something happened. There's always a chance we got an EVP. But I will tell you, we ended up being there for the start of Mardi Gras season, which we did not know. So it was very loud. A ghost could have pounded on the wall and I probably wouldn't have heard it, but I am going to go listen to the recording. If I got EVPs, you will be the first to hear it. But if you missed the Insta Live, I just want to say that yours truly sat on the floor next to the bed in the dark. So if there was something under the bed, I could have been grabbed and pulled under, but I did it. I did it for you guys. I did it because I am brave. I want to give a shout out to the staff of the Dauphine where I stayed. Big shout out to Jennifer. If you go to New Orleans, go check out May Bailey's. That is the bar inside the Dauphine. Find Jennifer, tell her I sent you, and ask her for some spooky stories. And the cost of the spooky stories is a drink, which trust me, you're going to want anyways. The most important part of this trip was the fact that you can be a vampire in all your glory down there, out in the open, and it's all good. There is so much for vampires to do down there. There is a vampire speakeasy, that's right, that has absinthe, genuine absinthe. There is the world famous Boutique du Vampire with all the vampire stuff you could want. And amazing staff members, but my favorite spot, the Vampire Cafe. Shout out to every person who works there. I had an amazing time. Not only do you get to be in all your vampire glory, they have incredible food and the blood bag. The blood bag, what is it? Well, anybody on YouTube is going to get to see it. The blood bag is this. It is an IV bag filled with either sangria or a vodka cocktail. They bring it to you. You unclamp the IV tubing and drink from the IV tubing. Worth every penny. Major shout out to every person who works at the Vampire Cafe. Let me tell you something about these girls and guys. I went there the very first night. They did not know me from anybody else. And as soon as they found out why I was there, they were all on board for coming and supporting me and supporting my books and my podcast and my dreams. They were 100% in. Amazing human beings. Big, big, big shout out to Julie and Tori. Big hugs to them. I cannot wait to go back to New Orleans. It is Summer said it perfectly. She said the first night, I feel like I just got home. That's exactly what New Orleans felt like to me. No, I did not get any voodoo dolls, but it was only my first trip, so probably don't want to be on my bad side because now I know where to get voodoo dolls. If you don't know, I have a YouTube channel now. Some of you are watching me as I record this episode. For those of you listening, go check out the YouTube to see this episode unedited. So anything that I edit out, I talk before it, I talk after it. If Juliet shows up, if Norman shows up, if the kids show up, I'm not going to edit it out on the YouTube video. I will edit it out for the podcast, so you'll get to see a little behind the scenes. I will say, prior to doing the podcast, I do let Juliet out, make sure she's nice and empty, take her collar off so you don't have to listen to the jingle jangles of her tags. But you never know. She's upstairs right now, but at any moment she could come rushing down here and interrupt everything. Again, I'm going to say, you guys already heard this on the YouTube channel, but for my podcast listeners, please bear with me as I create the YouTube. All of you are so nice and so supportive. Please continue that. Please be patient as I grow the YouTube channel, kind of get into the rhythm of things, decide what I want to do with it. Anybody who listens to the podcast knows first season, not my best material because I was getting into the swing of things. Speaking of which, I am currently rewatching True Blood because True Blood, like Supernatural, I feel like I did not do justice the first time. So I will be redoing True Blood. And then another one on my list is Midnight Mass that I want to redo because I feel like I did not do it justice. And so watch out for those things. For anyone who's not in my Fanged family, go to my channel. Go to my website, join my Fanged family, because they get to hear what episodes are going to drop before I even record them, so you can watch the material. They get to see anything, so when I get an agent, they'll be the first to hear. They'll be the first to see covers of the books. They'll be the first to hear about new appearances, the first to hear about anything. So definitely go join my Fanged family. But why don't we just get into it, okay? Because I've been rambling for like 10 minutes, and I'm sure you are all excited that this is back. I'm excited to be back, but let's get to the nitty gritty because I know I was curious and now you guys have had to wait even longer. What do we have to look forward to in 2023? If you go back a year and you listen to Jeremy and Logan and I talking about all the things that were upcoming in 2022, it felt like there was a lot for us creatures of the night to look forward to. We had some great moments in 2022. Obviously, the highlight being Anne Rice's interview with the vampire on AMC. Oh my, I cannot wait for it to be back. It blew me away. It's not vampire related, but I'm very excited to watch the Mayfair Witches as well. But Interview with the Vampire. Oh, you guys have to go on my Insta because I found I was just walking through the French Quarter and the alleyway where Lestat drags Louis out after he beat the crap out of him and then they shoot up into the air. I found it. I was walking by and I stopped and I said to Summer, oh my God, this is the alleyway. So I'll post it on Instagram if I didn't already. I will post it. But yeah, I just walked right past it. I was like, holy crap. I almost cried a little bit because remembering that scene. Oh, I should probably tell you if you've never listened to this podcast, massive spoiler alerts, okay? This channel does not protect secrets at all. Please, obviously, because I've told you all the vampire secrets. Now I'm telling you all the movie, TV show secrets. Massive spoiler alert if you listen to this podcast. If you listen to it and you have not watched the material, that's on you because I have definitely been very clear that I'm going to ruin it all. Who sleeps with who kills who turns who, all that stuff. Anywho, so 2022, kind of an okay year for vampires. Definitely Interview with the Vampire was the highlight, but we did have some disappointments. So I'm looking at you, First Kill and Night Teeth and Morbius, and yes, even The Invitation. I'm sorry, even The Invitation, because it had such potential and it did not live up to it. Disappointing. We had some postponing, like Blade. Blade has been postponed. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And we had some promised TV shows, which we will talk about. I have the delightful task of telling you what you're going to see in 2023. Hopefully. I can't promise anything. I will tell you, I did research for quite some time. I think all of you know I take this stuff very seriously. I scoured the internet and I am disappointed at the low numbers of TV shows and movies for us creatures of the night to look forward to. Let's get into it. The big one. Everyone is talking about it. I believe it's April, although I saw some contradicting information. April earning an R rating for goriness and violence and explicit content. The horror comedy Renfield will retell the story of Dracula from the perspective of his bug-eating human servant Renfield, with Nick Cage as the Count and Nicholas Hoult as the titular character. So, when I wrote this script, I had not yet seen the preview. The preview dropped, and yes, 175 people sent it to me. I am so excited for this movie. I will be there opening night. So be sure that I will be reviewing this the weekend it comes out, and I will let you know, is it worth it or not? I will tell you, should you wait until it's streaming and watch it? Should you not watch it at all? Or should you run your little butt to the theater and watch it immediately? I am so excited for Renfield. So that is looking like it's going to be April. August of 2023. We talked about this one last year. The Last Voyage of the Demeter. For those of you who don't know, that is the ship that is mentioned in the book Dracula. It's very quick. It's a blip. You probably missed it. But that is the ship that takes Dracula from Transylvania to London, and it arrives empty. That's pretty much all you hear about. They load boxes of dirt, ship arrives empty, they move on. So now this movie is going to show us what happened on that ship. So I'm very, very excited for that one. Yes, okay. So, Last Voyage of the Demeter. The release date is not out yet for this one, but it is coming out in 2023, and that is the remake of Salem's Lot. Now, not a lot has come out about this adaptation. I am actually excited because the less they show, the more I am wanting to go see it. I was pleasantly surprised with what they did to it. So fingers crossed they do the same justice to Salem's Lot, because I'm going to be the first to say that nobody yet has done it justice. I know a lot of people hold the one from the 70s tight and they love it, but I've read the book and nobody has done it justice the way that it could be done. And now that I saw what they did with it, I'm excited for Salem's Lot. So what we know is the runtime is 1 hour and 53 minutes. The director stated he wanted to get away from sexy vampires and make the vampires scary again. So that is pretty much all we know. We know the cast, how long the movie's running, and that he's making these vampires scary. That is all we know. So very excited for that one. Disappointed to learn. For those of you who listened to my 2022 episode, I mentioned a Dracula adaptation that was coming from Blumhouse. The director was Karen Kusama. At one point in time, she had touted it as like a sci-fi, and then there was some changes, and the title was going to be Mina Harker, and it sounds like it was going to focus on her perspective. However, this movie is not happening. That is right. It is not happening. Apparently, there was creative differences. Miramax pulled the financing, and it is dead. And it's not undead. It is not coming back. It is dead. Dead, dead, dead. Sorry, guys. It's not coming out. So what a bummer. Having been first announced in 2019, the new Blade we were hoping we were going to see pretty soon, but there has been some problems, and now it is a 2024 release. One of the problems, and I know what you're thinking, the pandemic. It wasn't the pandemic, okay? Apparently the director stepped down in September of 2022. A new director signed on the end of November, and now they are going ahead with creating what I hope is a great reimagining. This is one of those ones that I don't think needed to be remade, although I will give it a chance to see what they're doing with it. I don't think Blade needed to be remade, but who am I? Maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised. Fingers crossed. But we will not see it in 2023, so in a year I will be talking about this one again. Looking ahead, it has just been announced there will be a Lost Boys remake. That is correct. A Lost Boys remake. Huh. Oh my, speaking of things that don't need to be remade, fingers crossed they don't destroy it. It is in pre-production. We do know that Jaden Martell from It will be in it. No release date, but I am going to guess 2024. Again, I want to say Lost Boys remake. Why? Why? For the love of God, why? Okay, also in pre-production is a remake of Nosferatu. I am down with this one. I'm down with this one. It's been 100 years. I think that we can go ahead and remake it. But beyond that, guess who's in it? Bill Skarsgård. Okay, all right, I'm in. I'm guessing he's going to be Count Orlok. Don't quote me on that. Don't say, well, Lena said. I'm going to guess that Bill is going to be Count Orlok. But hey, I'll tell you more as it develops, but I'm kind of psyched. All right, Nosferatu, Bill Skarsgård. I'm in. I'm in for any Skarsgård. Okay, let's just say that. But Nosferatu, okay, all right, okay. Okay, let's transition to TV shows. That's right. That was all I have to tell you about movies. Bummer, right? There's always a chance that we get some Netflix originals, Hulu originals, Prime originals that are vampiric, but I can't tell you because that was all I can find. And I promise you, I spent half of a night looking. That's it. I know. You know what should be made into a movie? Just saying. My books. Whatever. Moving on. Let's transition to TV. Searching for new horror shows in 2023. I found a very healthy mix of werewolves, clowns, demons, ghosts, witches, aliens. While I'm happy for any horror content, the vampire material in the television world is much like the movie world. It's sparse. Sparse. If you're like me, you are anxiously awaiting season 2 of Interview with the Vampire, which we have already talked about. The most recent news is production will begin in April, which means hopefully we will see it in October. I'm really, really hoping. The premiere date is estimated to be late 2023, but it could be as early as 2024. Listen, if I have anything to do with it, we will have it out for Halloween. I don't know. I'll have my people call their people. We'll make something happen. Given the way that season 1 ended, I think we're all anxiously awaiting season 2. But, you know, I can only do so much. We will get season 5 of What We Do in the Shadows to hold us over. We're expecting that in the fall of 2023. I am very excited to see what will be in store for the gang. They've already been signed on for season 6. So we will have lots of time with Nandor and Nadja and Laszlo and Colin Robinson and even Guillermo. So don't worry. Showtime's Let the Right One In, the TV series, ended season 1 in December. As of now, Showtime has not renewed it or canceled it. So we'll keep an eye out for that news. I have not watched it. I promise it's on my list. I have not watched it yet, but as of right now, I couldn't tell you if it's coming back or not. Sci-Fi's Reginald the Vampire was released October of 2022. That is based on a book. It tells the story of Reginald, who is a not-so-classic vampire, surrounded by beautiful, vain vampires, and he's trying to navigate this new world. I have not watched it. It's gotten mixed reviews. It is on my list. But as of December 23rd, 2022, it has not been renewed or canceled, so we have no idea. Also in 2022, Peacock released the TV show Vampire Academy, a reboot of the movie. It's getting good reviews, and considering that Julie Peck is behind it, and if you guys don't know, she's behind the Vampire Diaries, Originals, and Legacies, considering she's behind it, it's no surprise that season 2 will happen. So that one is towards the top of my list. I will have to go check it out when I have the time. Something we know for sure is not coming back. I called it, hate to say it, but Netflix's First Kill. Now, it's a bummer because it left on a giant cliffhanger, but the cliffhanger was not enticing enough for me to root for it to come back. I mean, go back and listen to my episode. I was very clear on it. I am not surprised it got canned. In 2020, a reboot of True Blood was teased. That's the word I'm going to use. So where is it? Well, the last update was that they were still working on ideas. It has not been green lit yet. As much as I want to return to bon temps, I want it to be the right way, the highest quality possible. So I am okay with them taking their time. However, if they tease this for years and then it's dead in the water, what a shame, right? What a shame. But I'm on my third rewatch. And if they decide that they can't come up with anything good enough to bring it back, then I support that decision, because please don't ruin it. There has been rumors of a Vampire Diaries reboot or a season 9, but I could not find any solid. The camera just stopped recording. Apparently it automatically stops at 30 minutes. So we're going to have to piece stuff together. But this is something I will be editing out of the podcast episode. So they will have no idea that that just happened. But apparently at 30 minutes, it cuts off. So that's important to know. Don't hold your breath. There is no solid evidence that Vampire Diaries will be coming back. I think it's just rumor. Now, what we know is not rumor. Originally, we were supposed to see a Buffy reboot this year. However, it is paused indefinitely. I cannot say for sure that it's because of everything that came out about Joss Whedon. However, I doubt that's helping matters. So what we know is that a lot of the actresses especially are coming out and saying what a toxic set it was. Joss is under fire. So I would have to imagine that's why the Buffy reboot is paused. And again, the word that was used was indefinitely. So we will watch out for news of that. Sadly, my fanged friends, that's it. That's it. So we just have a few renewals. We have some things that are in limbo as far as TV goes. Nothing new coming out. No material in the works. Like I said, lots of supernatural material coming out. But vampires are unfortunately not coming out of the coffin this year. So hopefully we see some stuff pop up that we didn't know about that hasn't been announced yet. But it's looking like it might be a little bit of a dry season for us vampires when it comes to watching material. So I hate to say it, guys, but you may have to pick up a book. Pick up my book. Shameless. So this is something I will edit out of the podcast, but you're going to get to see. That is me taking a drink. All right. Ladies and gents, that is it. It's a quick one. It's probably good. We sort of like gently got back into the swing of the season. I will let you know that next week the episode will be Vampires Suck. That's right, the Twilight parody. If you have not seen it, it is on Amazon Prime. I think I paid $3.99. Go check it out. And then you can follow along with me as I talk about it next week. So that is it for the podcast. I'm going to go ahead and sign off to my beautiful people out there and continue to talk to the YouTube crowd. So if you want to know what I say, well, you're going to have to go watch the YouTube video. But I wish you wicked hugs and bloody kisses. Good evening. So, shockingly, I was able to do that without any mistakes. I promised you all mistakes, and I didn't do any, so I apologize for that. As you see now, I'm pretty much myself when I do all of this. I don't look at the script too much. I do have to go back and remember what I was talking about sometimes, because I do get a little bit sidetracked. But I apologize. No major bloopers, no mistakes. But please, stick with the channel, because I promise you they do happen. They do happen. I guess I'm just on the ball today. I think because of what I was talking about, I'm very excited, disappointed, wish there had been more to talk about, but 30 minutes is a pretty good first episode for the third season. So I am happy with that. What happens now? Well, what happens now is I have to go in now. I have to clean it up, take out some of the things. I have to add the ending music. With future episodes, you'll see that if I do ratings or I talk about my thoughts, then I'll have to add all of that music in there as well, clean it up a little bit, and then get it ready to drop. I usually download it and set it to a timer so it drops at a certain time because I don't want to forget. I used to forget all the time and disappoint people. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to disappoint you. So that is what happens after this. So now I'm going to end this. I am going to pop the SD card into my computer here and start playing around with the editing software because, like I've said a few times, this is my first time doing this. So we'll see how this turns out. I'll be excited. In the meantime, I have my blood bag. I'm going to finish off my blood bag and go check on the kiddos, and then I'm going to start editing. So I guess you and me together will find out how this is going to go. Please put in the comments what you would like to see. I am fully open to whatever you would like this channel to be. People who have been following me know, if you reach out to me and say, I really want you to cover this movie, if you don't know me, and this happens at cons all the time, people think they're gonna tell me about a movie or a TV show that I don't know about. I have been watching vampire material for roughly 35 years, so there's not a lot I don't know about. However, the anime stuff gets me. There's a lot of vampire anime that I don't know about, so please feel free. Just at the con, my neighbor, his booth was called Nightmare on the Bayou. He actually told me about something I'd never heard of. It was very obscure. I'd never heard about it. So I'll be adding that to my list. But please reach out. Let me know. Ask me if I've seen it or I've covered it. I will let you know. In the meantime, I wish you wicked hugs and bloody kisses. Good evening.